Bonsoir. I hope you all are doing good and staying safe. Let's start today's session with a quote. Be a traveler and not a tourist. Paris is a city of love. Paris is a city of lights. Paris is always a good idea any day. Come and enjoy a day in Paris through my lens, says Anitha Mysore, who is our member and our today's presenter. Before we begin with today's session, let us have some quick announcements. Starting with Drishti, our YPS journal. The October edition is now available on the stand. I hope you have downloaded them and you have started reading it. If not, all you need to do is go to ypsbengaluru.com, go to the Drishti stand, and download your copy. As many of you know, the International Salon is now open for registration. You can start uploading your images right away. All you need to do is go to salon.ypsbengaluru.in. Yes, you heard it right. It's now .in. You can still go to salon.ypsbengaluru.com, which will in turn lead you to .in. So no worries there. Now, if you wish to become a member, all you need to do is log into ypsbengaluru.com or just scan the QR code which is on your screen, and it's in a jiffy you can become a member. Everything is digitalized. Also, don't forget to like our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube channels. Our handle across all is same, YPS Bengaluru. Next Meet YPS Meet Live is from Dr. Barun K. Sinha, who will be talking about his journey of photography. This is happening next week. Don't miss it. Coming to our today's presentation, let me welcome Ms. Anitha Mysore. Bonsoir, Anitha.
Bonsoir, Hardik. Thank you.
How are you doing? Comment
I'm
ça
doing
va, probably?
fine. Oui, bien, merci.
Yeah. So let me introduce Anitha Mysore. Ms. Anitha is a software engineer by profession with a master's in civil engineering. She travels widely on job, and this has helped her with her travel photography. Most of you might not know, but she's also an avid bird enthusiast. She joined YPS in 2016, which did not just improve her photography, but also it helped her to hone her skills. And also, most importantly, she has been participating in national and international salons. She has started to participate in the salon photography from past 3 years. Also, she is a member of FIP, PSA, GPU, IPU. Anitha has conferred with distinctions like EFIP, EFIP, EPSA, EIUP, CMOL, GPU, CR3, and among others. Anitha was listed among the top 10 of FIP's Who's Who for 2018. She appeared in PSA's Who's Who for 2018 under the Photo Travel, Nature, and Photojournalism division, and for 2019 under Open Color, Open Monochrome, Nature, Photo Travel, and Photojournalism. Apart from above, she has won awards in many national and international salons and competitions hosted under the patronage of FIAP, PSA, ICS, GPU, and so on. She has won over 250 awards and 4,000 exhibition acceptances from over 35 countries. That's a really huge number, and I wish that number just keeps growing. So coming to our today's presentation, so when are we traveling to Paris? Over to you, Anitha.
Merci beaucoup, Hardik. Bonsoir, Madame et Monsieur, which means good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, the topic for today is Paris. which means that we have to go to Paris. But before we go there, I would like to thank YPS for giving me this opportunity to showcase my travel pictures. Um, and I especially thank Satish for giving me this opportunity because he's been giving a lot of encouragement all through. Thank you, Satish. And of course, I have to thank the team which has worked with me for this presentation in the back end. I'm doing it at the beginning, not as a part of Thanksgiving, so to say. Hardik, Vikas, Nandan, Prema, all of them have helped me to come on stage today and to present to you my travel pictures. I'll be focusing on Paris. This is mainly because considering that my employer ESI Group is headquartered in Paris, I have been to Paris more often than I have been to any other city in the world. And if you ask me which is my favorite place to visit, it would be Paris any day. Paris is a
Mm-hmm.
photographer's paradise. Whether you want to shoot architecture, whether you want to shoot monuments, whether you want to shoot street, nature, anything, Paris is the place to go. And I love to go there any day. That is the reason why I chose Paris for today's presentation and titled it as Bonsoir because this presentation is coming to you, people in India at least, in the evening. So Bonsoir means
Yeah.
good evening. But if people are joining from across the world, it could be bonjour. It could be other times of the day for them. I'm sorry, but then yes, please, all of you are most welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you will like what you see in the next 1 hour. So let's do one thing. Let's get on the flight and let's take off to Paris. So fasten your seatbelts and let's go on air to Paris. And before we land, okay, we are in the air. You can assume or imagine that you're in the air. And before we land, let me teach you the first word for the day. Because the presentation is about Paris, I promise you that you will learn at least 2 or 3 words before you leave the presentation at the end of the hour. So the first word that you will be learning, I've already said it, but you will see it again, is bonjour, good morning. Bon stands for good and jour is day. So typically good day, but then you use bonjour as a form of greeting. Whenever you meet people for the first time in the day, you say bonjour, which is good morning. Okay, so now I guess it's time to land, but let's get familiar with what we're going to see in Paris. So if you see you can see the river, which is marked
Yeah.
in, I'm using my cursor, so you can just see the blue. That is the river Seine that flows through the heart of Paris. And this is I can say, it offers innumerable opportunities for photography. It has been an inspiration to many artists in the past, continues to be, and it is an inspiration for photographers too. And in addition, all the areas that I've marked in red, these are some of the areas that I will take you to today. And you may have seen a lot of pictures of Paris, very common. I mean, most of you would have been to Paris. So, considering that traveling to Paris is so simple, these days I can't say, but at least in the 21st century BC, before COVID. So, all my pictures are at that time, before COVID. So, till then, the travel was very simple. We had direct flights, so no issue. You just sleep and then you just like we did now. So, you can just wake up in the morning and you're in Paris. And the area that you see over here, this the small area, this is called as the Latin Quartier, the Latin quarters. So this is the oldest part of Paris, and this is where typically I love to stay because it's close to most of the monuments, and then it's within walkable distance. So it's a very nice area to stay. Probably expensive because most people prefer that, and you also have a lot of options to eat. And being a vegetarian, for me, it's I haven't found it a problem to find food because it's always you can have lots of delicacies which are vegetarian. It's very good, and this place is totally full of cafes. The streets are full of cafes, so you can just it's very nice. So let's see what we can do. There are many different ways in which you can go around Paris. So the first and the foremost, you can take the metro. So the Paris metro is very, very convenient. It's almost an underground city by itself. You can take the metro, you can go any place. So it's very, very convenient. You just have to buy the day ticket or a week ticket or whatever pass, you can just do that. Another way to go around Paris is to take the ferry, take the boat. So there are many options. You can take a hop on, hop off cruise. So you have a bateau bus, so you can just take a day ticket, and then you can. There are 7 stops along the river, and 3 on one side and 4 on the other side. So it just goes around and comes back. So you can just take this boat and hop on, hop off as and when you like. In addition, you can also, or not in addition, if you want to, you can also take a cruise. So they run cruises, dinner cruise, day cruise, whatever. So you can just go, they serve you lunch, dinner, whatever it is. That's also possible. You can buy that option also. But this is another way to look at Paris. I've never been on a dinner cruise so far. So it's just that I have been on the hop on, hop off. It's very convenient. So this is another way. The third way is to take the sightseeing bus, which is very typical of places in Europe. Only thing is, I have never taken this kind of a bus to go sightseeing, but this is definitely an option if that's what you want to do. And another option is the cycle. Oh, sorry. You can just you can rent a mobike. It's called a mobike. You can rent this. You find them all over the place. Segways were quite common at some point. I don't know if they're still as common, because today what is more common is the bicycle. Plus, you have some scooters. You have those electric scooters, the two-wheel one. You just stand and then you go. I saw a lot of people using this last time when I was in Paris last year, and it is also now more convenient because Paris is getting ready for the next Olympics, and therefore they had started to build bike lanes. So it is very safe. At least when you're going in the bike lane, you can take your bike and you can go. That's another way to get around. And last but not the least, this is what I like most: you walk. So there is nothing like walking. If you want to explore the city, it is best done by foot. It doesn't matter. You just have your breakfast in the morning, of course. If you have not gone out before that, you just set out, you just go roam all around the city, take rest wherever you want, come back. It's a lovely place to walk. So these are the ways in which you can explore the city. Now let's get started and go to the first location, which will be the Notre Dame. Notre Dame, the full name is Notre Dame de Paris. So this means Our Lady of Paris. It translates to Our Lady of Paris, and this is, you would have seen this. Many of you would have seen this. So this is the place. It is the cathedral, and it's. I never miss going to Notre Dame whenever I'm in Paris. So it gives a very nice feeling to go there, to go and explore, go and look at it. It's very nice. It's a very nice structure. It is about 850 years old, and it is about 69 meters tall. So you can see that there are two twin towers, and then it is 69 meters tall. You can also go to the top of the tower, and this monument, it houses a lot of treasures and all that. Let's go in and see what is there. When we just go closer, you see that this facade, it is made up of, apparently this architecture is not fully medieval, so there have been some changes, because it has stood a long time, 850 years. So there are some changes, and you can see the figurines of all these, some sacred seals and the saints and all these. It's a very nice thing to photograph. Then you can, this was shot with a wide angle lens. Yeah, what I wanted to say was, I have visited Paris about 8 times so far, and each time I've gone with different kind of gear. So I have shot it with just a point and shoot, and then my Nikon D90 with the kit lens 105, and then I've also shot it with a Tokina 1116 wide angle. In fact, this shot is from a Tokina 1116. Then I've also shot it with the D610 full frame with the 24 120 mm and also 28 300 mm, which used to be my go-to lens for some time in between before I switched on to 24 120. So once we go inside, now this is how you see. The lighting is not very, there is not too much light, but then you can do a long exposure if possible. I don't think they allow tripods. I've never taken a tripod inside, so it's always been I try to find some place to keep it. You can find those benches. You can try to keep them there and take some shots. It's a very nice place. You can just go around. You can just go around and then inside, that is. It's very nice. So you can take a look at this. This is one of the shots again from the 1116, which I converted into monochrome. At the far end, you see the place where actually when the mass happens, the people are there, and uh, you get the point. So this is on the way when you go. And one of the important things of this place is that there are a lot of stained glass windows. So they're beautiful ones, very nice stained glass windows, rose art and all that stuff. It is very nice. You can take your time. There are so many small chapels kind of thing inside. So each one having its own relevance. So you can just take a look at that. Similarly, moving forward, so there are some more pictures here. Then once you reach close to the altar, so this is what you will see. This you see some board on the right and the left. This is mainly because I think this was in 2013 or something that I shot this, and this was when there was a special some celebration or something like that, because of which they put up a podium and there was all these boards and other things. So if you turn back, you see this organ at the far end. This organ is supposed to be the largest in France, and it has around 8,000 pipes. I have not heard it play as such, but then that's what it says. And in fact, Notre Dame, it is the treasure to even the crown of Jesus, apparently, the holy crown of Jesus, a small piece of the cross and a nail. So there is a museum. I wouldn't call it a museum. It's another part of it which where all the treasures are there, and then they are on display. You can, for a small fee, you can go there and then you can take a look at it. So you can find this over there. And I have been there only once. And this the crown of Christ and all that, they keep it on display every first Monday, I don't know, Sunday or something like that of the month. I don't remember seeing it though. Another possibility, now you can light some candles. This is common in all the churches in Europe. So this is what you can do. You can light some candles, and you see the stained glass window there at the back, a very beautiful one. Then there is a possibility to go to the top of the tower. So the ones that you saw in the first picture. So you have to actually take the stairs. You go climbing, and you can go to the top, and you can get beautiful views of Paris. This I had not done it. My first visit to Paris was in 2008, and since then I have never gone to the top of this tower. It was only in 2017, 9 years later, that I got a chance to go to the top of this Notre Dame. And this is one of the common views that you would see people shooting. So you have these gargoyles, and these are basically hollow statues, and keeping it in the backdrop, keeping it in the foreground and shooting Paris in the backdrop is something that feels good. You can see all the people down on the ground. So this is from a first level. You can still go higher, and at the far end you see Montmartre over there. So this is another place that we will be going to shortly. And then this is on the other side. You see this spire over here. So you will not find this now. Unfortunately, you know that last year in April, there was a big fire which destroyed a part of the cathedral. And in that, the wooden, you see the roof over there. So that is the wooden roof. So that part has been destroyed, and the spire also is destroyed. So you will not see that. It's being rebuilt. So if you want to get this view, you need to go there after 5 years or something after it opens. It was very unfortunate, this fire, but it was apparently not the first time that it has been destroyed in a fire, but it has been rebuilt. Now also they're going to rebuild it. So you see that it seems this fire, it is actually supposed to be a saintly lightning rod. So there is a rooster. I don't know if I have a picture of that somewhere. There's a rooster near the rod, and then that actually has some metal parts inside, and that acts as a lightning rod. So this is one of the views from the top while going to the top. Then this you can see again. So these figurines. So none of these are there now. So these are gone for now. I hope they put it back in the same. I don't know whether they're going to bring back the same design or not, but some construction is going on. So this is just a view again how it looks in the dark. I mean in the night. So this is a shot from the ground level. So it's very difficult to get this in a 18105 or a 24-120 because you need to go quite far away to get the full facade in the frame. Now, this is the view that I got to see from my room balcony, a room window. It's not a balcony. So this is I was staying in the Latin quarters, very close to Notre Dame, and this is what I could see. So this is in the morning. See, it looks so nice. So you can see the spire very clearly now. I don't think you can see the rooster again, but this is what it is. This is another way of looking at Notre Dame. And most of us would have seen pictures of Notre Dame from the front, but we may not be aware that it looks like this from behind. So there's a garden and it looks very nice. And this uh, is a lock bridge. So, in Europe, you have this tradition where couples, they go and, put a lock on the bridge and they throw the key into the river. So this is just to say, okay, we are locked forever. So nothing is going to separate us. So they believe in this kind of tradition. So this is a very, you see these kind of lock bridges all over Europe. This is another one, and I use this as a way to, as a foreground to shoot Notre Dame. You see River Seine in the background. And this is again quite a common view because you see the boats coming and then you have Notre Dame up. So it's a common sight, but it's very nice. I have never missed shooting this all the time because I like this kind of shot very much, though it is quite common. This is another one. Paris, as I said, is a place for artists. So there is art everywhere. So you typically find artists who set shop on all along the path out next to the road that is on the pavement, and then they keep painting and all that. So I use that as a backdrop to shoot this image. Then this one is probably not a common sight. So there is a garden on the other side, and we just happened to go into this garden, and then I saw that okay, there is also a couple who's sitting over there. So this was for me it was a nice thing with some roses in the foreground. And actually, if you go to Paris during May, it is beautiful with all the flowers and all that. It's very nice, and this was one of the trips that I made in May. So that accounts for the roses. Then this is another view. This I got it last year when again I'm used to shooting these kind of things, but this is something that I did last year. And the main idea of showing this is you can see that there is some construction going on. You don't see the spire any longer. The spire is gone. So this is last year after the fire. I went in September. The fire happened in April. So you see this, the construction is going on. So they are rebuilding it and you don't have access to it. Probably you can go from that side, but they don't allow you inside. So that area is closed. And then that's how it's all barricaded, and then you can you can just look at it from this side. So maybe you can go on the other side, but I didn't try going on the other side. So this is about Notre Dame. Next, we'll go to the Louvre. We'll stop by at the Louvre. Louvre is very famous. Everybody knows about Louvre. And the very first time I went to Louvre was inside the Louvre rather, was the very first time I went to Paris. This was in 2008. I had a 2-day, 1.5-day program because maybe an interesting thing is that I've never been to Paris for the sake of a vacation. It's always been on work, and I take a day off here and there and then try to do whatever I can in that time. So the very first time I had gone to Lyon, and along with my colleague, we came to Paris on a 1.5-day sightseeing trip. And my husband had made a very detailed Excel sheet, where to go, what to see, which train to take, everything. So it worked, it worked like clockwork, I can say. So just go take, oh, this is the place, go there, take this line, go get off, go see and come. The only problem was after getting off the train, that is the metro, I had not realized that there can be so many exits, and which one to take to go where. So that was the only confusion. But apart from that, there was no other issue. So it was the first time I had been to Paris, and it was so easy to go around. So I'm sure none of you will have any problem if you go there. So, and we went to the Louvre, and the only thing on our plan to see in the Louvre was, of course, Mona Lisa. What else? So we raced to the hall that holds Mona Lisa, and we were confronted with this. This was with my point and shoot camera, and I knew I had heard a lot about Mona Lisa, but this is not what I thought it would be. I had imagined something. I'm sure many of us would have thought in the same way. We would have imagined that it's going to be very big and all that stuff, and then it was like just a small thing with a lot of people clamoring to get a view of this. So this is how it was, and yeah, and after that, I've never been inside the Louvre. This was in 2008, so in 12 years, I have never been inside the Louvre. I've gone sometimes to the area around, but I have never been to the Louvre. And I've seen, when you take a boat and you go, you see this, you see the shot, you see the full length of the museum from the scene. And then this was from one of the earlier trips when I happened to just go in. There were a lot of people. Usually there are a lot of people. So this is one of the shots I got. And then last year, I went there again, and I went in the evening, and I went on a weekday. So I realized that there were not too many people. So for some reason, I think I went 2 or 3 times, and all the time, not many people were there. All the time it was a weekday, and it was quite good. So this is what you get to see with not too many people. The only thing I missed was I didn't take my tripod because I went there while I was coming back from work. So I couldn't take the tripod, but I had carried my camera. So this is another view on the same day where you see, there are still some people who come in who find it a very nice place. It's definitely a very nice area. This is another shot. You can see it. So the sun is setting on the up, so you can see the evening light. And then this is another shot. So this lady was sitting over there. I mean, this is more like street. You see a lot of these things happening, but then I'm not usually so comfortable shooting it because I don't know whether they will say no or, so this kind of thing. But then from a far shot, you can always do that. This was shot in the night, and I had gone there without a tripod again because I'd gone from the office. Only thing is, I managed to find some short pillars, some short columns which are there all along, and I could put my camera on that and then do this long exposure. And the light you see there is a guy who was going on the skating shoe. He was wearing skating shoes and he was skating around this area. And by the time I realized, he had almost come to the end of it, so I couldn't get too many shots with this trailing light. Then this is another shot. This is a shot on my mobile. So you see a lot of these couples, who come for a photo shoot and all that. So it's a very common sight in Paris. Then this is another shot. Similarly, again, another couple who had come for a photo shoot. So on an overcast day, this is how I got that. So I don't have too many pictures of Louvre. So that's about Louvre. But it is time to learn a new word for the day. I promised you in the beginning that you will go away with at least 2 or 3 words. So the next word is je t'aime, I love you. So this is what you say, je t'aime. So remember it. You may want to say it to somebody. If you're in Paris, it's a very romantic city. So it's best you go with your partner so that you can enjoy. Of course, I don't want to talk about the others, but this is the word for you. So let's go to see the Sacre-Cœur next. Now, Sacre-Cœur, it is another place, as you can see there. So it's a beautiful church. It's a church. Notre Dame is a cathedral. This is a church. There are different levels. So there is a church, there is a cathedral, and there is a basilica. So it is in that kind of an order. A church is a place where people go usually. When it comes to a cathedral, it is more head of all the churches kind of thing. All the churches report to the cathedral, and the basilica is even higher because the Pope, it has got some I don't know, some honorary, something like that. So it is at a higher level. So that is a basilica. In Rome, you have Saint Peter's Basilica. Notre Dame is a cathedral, and this one, Sacre Coeur, is a church. Now, it is said that people go there, they find some peace and calm. So you see not just tourists, but also people from Paris themselves, the Parisians, they also come and then they tend to spend some time over here. And then usually there is a lot of crowd. Again, if you go on the weekdays or weekends, this is what you will find, a lot of people everywhere. And this Sacre Coeur is made up of a special stone. It's white stone, and apparently, when this white stone comes in contact with water, that is when it rains, the stone secretes calcite, and this cleanses the stone. And because of this reason, it always remains white. It's not looking so white over here, but apparently that is the thing, and it has remained white throughout. And it's a very beautiful structure. You can see the architecture. It is, I think it's Byzantine Gothic or whatever, this kind of architecture. So it is on a hill. It rests on a hill. So you have to, if you're going by metro, after you get off the metro, then you have to go uphill. You have to walk uphill, and then again you have to go further up. So you can take the steps and then you can go. It's a very nice place. So you can get the best views of Paris from here too. So we saw that we could see from Notre Dame, we could see Sacre Coeur. From Sacre Coeur, we can see all around Paris. You can go to the top of the tower, so the one you see on top, almost near the cross. So you can go to that spire. Then you can just look around. It's a very nice sight. So this you can try to get different views of the Sacre Coeur. So this is another one with the backdrop. This again was 2 years ago in May. Therefore, you see these roses. So it's very nice to shoot it along with the roses. Then I have actually been inside Sacre Coeur only once, I think, once or twice. Not the way I do when I go to Notre Dame. So this is the only picture I have, and this is from the mobile. So I'm sorry about that. I can't give you anything to show you any more of what is inside. But I have gone up, and when you go up to the top of Sacre Coeur, this is what you can see. So you can get a 360-degree view because you can go around and then you can see Paris here. Um, so you can see the Eiffel Tower in the far end that you can see. Similarly, as I said, you can just go around, so you can just see this. This is another view because you see these domes are there all around, so you can just use them as a backdrop wherever you go. Okay. Now, this building, it appears as if it is bending. I mean, it's at an angle, but it is not like that. So the trick here is that, the ground actually is at an angle. There is a slope. So since I haven't shown any trees over here, you can't really make out whether it is straight or not. So the ground is at a slope. So just by turning the, perspective, you can give an impression that this building is actually leaning, whereas it is not. So which you will see in the next picture. So it's actually straight, and you see the slope over there. So this is one trick that you can do. I mean, it's an interesting thing. And you can see here also, so this couple who had come for a photo shoot. So you can see them. Then there is a small train which you can, if you don't, I mean, there is no problem in going up the stairs because it's not as if you have to go climb a lot from the bottom of the hill to the church. But if you can't do that, you can still take this small train which goes around and then, takes you up and all that. I just saw it, so I'm just showing it over here. Now, attached to Sacre Coeur, there is a place called Place du Tertre. So this is also called as the Artisan's Corner or the Artist's Corner. Artisan, no? Artist's Corner. Now, this is a place, those of you who are familiar with Chitrasante, this is Chitrasante. But it's a Chitrasante that happens every day. So it's a beautiful place. This is the painting which I saw on one of the walls when I was walking up. So it is so nice. It looks so nice. So this is done on the wall. It's more like a street art. It is done. But once you get to this place, it's a small square, and apparently, all the great artists, Van Gogh, Picasso, and so many others, Monet, all of them used to come here, and they used to, you know, this. It seems this area, even before the Sacre-Coeur came up, the place is called Montmartre. So the area was not so expensive. So most of the artists used to come to this place, and then they used to set shop over here under some trees. They used to sit and start painting and all that. But now, over the years, this has become very expensive. And this place, it accommodates about 150 places only. So only about 150 artists can sit here. Each one gets about 3 square feet of space, it seems. And they have to share this between two artists every alternate day. That's how it's done. And then they can come sit here, do the paintings and all that, and people can go by and all these kind of things. So this is what you see typically. So this was the first time I went to this place, and many of these artists were very. They said no, no, no photographs. So I had to actually try and do something from far, because I think I have faced this in Chitrasante also. People think that we are going to make pictures of your photographs and then I don't know, sell it or whatever. Maybe that's their opinion, but that's not the point of. At least that was not my idea. It was just to showcase how um, how nice these things are and what is the ambience of this place and how it is. So you can see this lady specifically said no after I'd taken a couple of shots. So you see she's in the process of painting, and then there is this person who I felt had attitude, and he was just like sitting, and then he was painting. Then there's some more. This guy is doing caricature. And then, so this is a very interesting thing. You see the smile on the girl's face, and this person is just trying to make her give some nice expression, and all these guys around, they're just, it was a very lively scene. This was in the morning, actually, quite not so late in the morning, but people had already come in, the artists had already come, set shop, and some of them were still coming. So, most of them looked like this, very somehow they had this artist kind of look around them, is what I thought. And here I found actually that person, the guy or the person in the white suit who's sitting over there. I thought it would make a very nice picture with the blue background and the white suit. And I waited here for a while for this guy who was standing in the front to move away, but he didn't move away. So, and I didn't have, I didn't want to stand there for too long, and so I was forced to do this shot. That person is also an artist. You can see that there is some paint on his pant and coat and all that. And typically, what I saw was these artists, they're carrying their easels, and then they just go. And whenever people are coming, usually Montmartre is on what you see behind is Montmartre, sorry, is Sacre-Coeur. So when people are coming from there, these guys go and say, okay, shall I make your picture? This kind of thing. So this is one of those things where this guy is saying, okay, I'll take your picture. And there are a lot of cafes, and if you want to, usually Paris is famous for all these street side cafes, like it is in Europe generally. So Paris is no exception, and you see a lot of these cafes. So most of the, and when the sun is out, generally Parisians love to be out in the sun. So this is one such scene where people are enjoying some snacks or coffee. So that's about the Artisans Corner. Then I just thought I will throw in a few more places that we can see, because you're coming with me. So let me just show you a couple of more places. Now this is the Les Invalides. So this place is actually where the Napoleon's tomb is there. So what I wanted to show was, once we just happened to go by this in the evening, and there was very nice light, and then this you can actually, this is on the street that connects this. I mean, like on one end is this place, and at the other end you have the Grand Palais, Petit Palais, and all that. So you have the Pont Alexandra in between. So it's a very wide road, and you can actually go and stand in the middle of the road, and you can shoot both ways, this way and that way. You can turn back and shoot. So once the traffic stops, you can always take the shot. So it's a very nice thing. You can just cross halfway, stand, and then shoot this. So the clouds were very nice. So I thought I will make this shot. This is another one from behind, from the side, in fact. So this was on one of my earlier trips when we were going with that 11-16 mm. So we had gone round this, and this was one of the shots I took. So you can see the dome; it's so shiny, gold. This is another one which I made into black and white. So typically, I like to take some shots which are not usually, head on. So at an angle, this is one such shot. Now we've come to Arc de Triomphe. So this is, you can see it looks similar to India Gate, but this one is, I think it was a victory, mark of victory or something like that. And then, uh, in fact, Napoleon started the idea of building this, but he never got around to seeing its completion. And after he died, his body was taken, below this arch, and it was then laid to rest in Les Invalides. So this is typically the place. This is at one end of the Les Champs Elysees. Les Champs Elysees is the MG Road of Paris. So it's a huge street with very posh shops, all the brands you will see on either side. So here also, this the street is also such that you can just go to the middle of the street and you can shoot both ways. So this is on a particularly cloudy day when I was there. Now again, this is one thing when you go on travel such as these, when you're going for work and trying to take some days off, you don't know, the weather is not in your hand. You cannot dictate when you can go to the place, and once you go there, you have no control of the weather. So you have to make do with whatever is there. So you can just see on a cloudy day, it is still okay, can't do anything about it. Then this is a shot which I took in the night. One of my colleagues was kind enough to take me around Paris in the night. So we stopped by at different monuments. It was actually raining that day. So this is one of there were not many people. So I just quickly got out of the car. I couldn't go to the center, so I on one side, so at an angle, I made the shot with a slightly slow exposure. It was handheld, but I bumped up the ISO and I took the shot. This is another shot. This is how it can look in the night. So this shot, I put it here just to show you how it can look in the night. Now this is head on. You see the Arc de Triomphe at the far end, and you see the Les Champs Elysees, which is lit. So this again, it's always been a bane. I had not carried the tripod. It was in the hotel, but then it so happened that I had to rush in a hurry because I had a feeling that the sky is going to be very good. So I had to just, and I was staying quite far away. I was not in the Latin Quarter. And to come to Les Champs Elysees, even if you're in the Latin Quarter, it's not so easy because you can either, you have to change some metros and then you have to walk a little. So I didn't carry my tripod. And so I had to just manage with a handheld shot for this. Now this is the Place de la Concorde. So it was called Place Louis 15. So at some time it was called that, and apparently they put a guillotine here, and then he was executed here. And I don't know if it was Louis 15 or 16, so one of them. And after that, it was called Place um, Place de la Révolution. Place de la Révolution is how you will say it in French. So this is a place. Now this again was on the same trip when I took the shot of the Arc de Triomphe. Then we came around and then shot this uh, monument over here. And why I put this up is just to show you this is a night shot, handheld. But then what difference lighting can make, you can say when you see this. So that evening, when I told you I had to, when I shot the picture of the Les Champs Elysees, I had to run. I had to literally. I somehow realized that the sky is going to be good, so I left. I just left my tripod also, and I came and I found this. It was magical. This is how the place looked with the backdrop of this beautiful evening sky. And this was on the same evening, and it was just amazing. The sky was full of colors. It was totally colorful. And Paris, you can find such things in Paris very often, especially if you're in the right season. And this was taken in September, so you see these colors. Okay, now this is the fountain. Now this Place de la Concorde is decorated with fountains and other things on either side, and this is one of the fountains. It's a very beautiful fountain. So it looks as good when you shoot in the day, but this is a night shot, again handheld because no tripod, and I just had to make sure that I hold it firmly, bump up the ISO, and take this shot. Okay, then this place is the Luxembourg Garden. So you have the Luxembourg Garden, and then this is shot during fall. I think here this I was here again sometime in October, beginning of October, and therefore you see these autumn colors. It's a very nice garden. You can see the fall colors over here. Plus, there is a palace, and that's actually where the French Parliament meets. It's I don't know if it's a palace. I think it's a palace. The French Parliament meets there. I've not included a picture of that, but you will see typically the colors in this garden. So it was not peak fall, I would say. It was nearing the end, but these are the colors that you see. So it is. There was an interesting. There's an interesting story. I would say this is the only time I have been to this Garden of Luxembourg. I was with one of my colleagues, Venu, and he didn't come with me. He was in the hotel, and then I went to this place. And then at some point, his wife was trying to reach me because the same, just about maybe an hour ago or something, there had been a terrorist attack in, I think it was in Lyon, not in Paris. And so people were generally scurrying around and all that. So, off late, there have been quite a few terrorist attacks in Paris. So it was like oh, really? Oh, I'm in the middle of something kind of thing. But then thankfully nothing happened. So I just went ahead shooting the way I would because I was quite close to the hotel. I could just walk up. It was not a long distance. So this is another shot. You see the fall colors. And then it is time for another word. So the word this time is rendezvous. So you would have used this word many times in English, I'm sure. So rendezvous is basically a French word. So it means meeting. So this is another scene that I found in this Luxembourg garden. So next, I will show you some bridges. This one is the Viaduct de Passy. So this is the Passy bridge, um, and this one is a two-level bridge. So this shot I did this I think in 2014 or something like that. It was quite long back. So you can actually see Eiffel Tower from here. You get a very nice view of Eiffel Tower, and that's the reason why most people tend to come here and shoot. And you have all these hangings, all the lamps which are there along the bridge. So it's a very nice place. The metro runs on top. You can see that. So it's called the Viaduct de Passy. The metro runs on top, and you see there is a limousine in the background. So I included this shot just to show you because I used to read quite a lot about these limousines and things like that in the novels and all that. Then I got to see a real one. Of course, we would have seen them in movies, but then here, you see actual limousine, people coming out of it for a photo shoot, and then, bang, everything happens. So this is another shot which was taken during the night. So I had a tripod with me on this trip. This was, as I said, in 2014, and I was staying on the same street down the road. So it was, I could actually see the Eiffel Tower from lying on my bed. I could see a part of it. So this, I had brought the tripod, and it was very windy, and this was in May, and I think April or May. So here I faced one issue. So I knew I had to take pictures of Eiffel Tower with the backdrop of a nice sunset and all that. So I had got my tripod and I was just walking around here. I came here at around 5 o'clock or something, maybe even earlier because I didn't have much to do. And I was just walking around. The light is not going down, the sun is not going down. I had not checked at what time the sunset is going to be. And the Eiffel Tower lights also come up after sunset. Every hour, for 5 minutes, all the lights blink. You see all the main lights. I wanted to see all that. So I just waited, waited, waited. It did not become dark at all for such a long time. And finally, um, uh, even I think the lights on Eiffel Tower came on only at 10 o'clock because the sunset, being summer or being closer to summer, the sunset was very late. And so that was like, I still remember I had to carry the tripod all along with me, and still, oh, what's happening, what's happening. Now, if I think about it, I could have done a lot more things, gone and taken a lot more pictures. I didn't do that. So I was just too much focused on only one thing, not keeping my mind open to the other things. It's all a learning. So this is another, this was on my last trip to Paris. So we were on this Pont des Arts. That's another bridge of which I have not included any pictures. And all of a sudden we look left and then see the huge moon rising. I cannot do justice. I have not done justice. Again, I no tripod with me, and that bridge is actually a metal bridge. So when people walk, it starts shaking. So even keeping it on one of the pillars and trying to shoot is not so simple. So this is what I got. So the moon is overexposed, but it was such a big moon. It was really beautiful. Now, this is my favorite bridge of all times. This is Pont Alexandra 3. So this is a beautiful bridge. It's one of the most beautiful bridges in Paris. And you see, you can make out, it's so nice. It spans across River Seine, and it has a lot of those Art Nouveau lamps. So you have these Art Nouveau lamps, and then you have some nymphs and cherubs and all that all along. I have included some pictures because I like this bridge so much. So you can see here, you can see the lamps. You can see the Les Invalides in the background at the far end. So this is a bridge that connects Les Invalides to the Les Champs Elysees, going through the Grand Palais and the Petit Palais. So these are the nymphs that you can see. This is a very nice thing. And last, I think 2 years ago, I knew this is one day was meant for sightseeing. I had gone with my husband Achu, and what we did was, he will tell even today that I spent, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 hours at this place. My colleague had come there and he was talking. They both were, discussing, and so that I was just on my own and then just going around. And he says, 5 or 6 hours you spent in this place. I tried all kinds of things, and the sky was like beautiful. It slowly started to get dark. It was very nice. And again, you see here again a couple who's come there to, get their photo shoot done. I couldn't include all the pictures because it'll be too much. Then you see the bicycles and all that in the front. So these are common sights. You see a lot of people all the time because it's one of the most beautiful bridges. It's an arch bridge, and very beautiful. And when the lights come on, it's really amazing. So you can just see that, and those statues which are at the four corners, they are gilt bronze statues, and they rest on pillars. These pillars are about 17 meters high, and they actually provide some kind of support to the bridge. So it's a very beautiful place. So you can see here from another shot. This I had the tripod with me, so I could always do this because I knew I was going to do this. That's why I had gone with the tripod. So you see, those are the gilt bronze statues. And for the first time, maybe, or at least prominently, you see the Eiffel Tower in the background. This is another shot. So you can get many shots like this because the ferries keep going. So they are very colorful. And especially if you do a long exposure, you can see the trails. It's very nice. So this is another shot. Okay, so that is about the bridges. Now let's move on to looking at some streets. As I said, Paris is a delight for photographers. If you want to do streets also, it's very nice. So this is one of the scenes we found along the river scene. So you can walk along the river. You will see such interesting sights. People come together. We found these people who had just started dancing. There were other people who were watching. They can join in if they want. And this guy was standing there and watching. And then you have this, again, you just walk along the bank of the scene. It's very interesting. So we saw this guy who was, I was with two of my colleagues. So we see this guy going on the bicycle. Then if you, this is a shot. This is a small island kind of thing in between, and you see people are just, they're just sitting around. It's evening, and they're just enjoying some time there. And if you start to walk, not on the bank, you come up to the road and on the pavement, as I said, there are many shops. So they are temporary shop in the sense like, they are makeshift shops kind of thing. So the people can put the shutter and go. And most of these people are selling art like this. So, um, so you can see this. So this lady who is sitting on the chair, she is actually the owner of the shop. So she is just sitting around and going about her work, and these people are going through the paintings that are on display. So this is another shot. This was, as I said, this was last year. So you see in the background the Notre Dame, which is under construction. So this is another shot from the street, and this is again, you know, you can find very interesting sights. People sitting around. So this was again in front of Notre Dame. So there used to be a lot of pigeons. I don't know if they're still there, but then people come and then they feed the pigeons, and you can see that she's enjoying doing this. This is another thing, as I have repeatedly mentioned, there are so many photo shoots that are happening, and this particular thing we saw there were four couples who were four or three, actually three are seen over here. There's one more couple, I think. So all of them were posing, and I found this interesting. It's another one. Yeah, this also I did it on my trip the last time. So this is also quite common, I guess, in European cities. So there is a guy who's actually blowing the bubbles, and the kids, are just enjoying. So after you've seen all that, maybe we can just go around to look at the cafes. This is how Latin Cafe looks. You just go. I think some of the shops are closed, but then you have cafes everywhere, and then it's a very nice place to stroll around also. And this is one cafe called the Odette Cafe. So I had read about this before my last trip, and I wanted to. I mean, they said it's a very nice place for shooting photographs and all that, and that's the reason why I went here. And as you can see, it's really nice. So the ambience is very nice. Of course, I didn't go and eat anything there. They sell pastries apparently, and maybe other, I think coffee, blah blah. But my interest was only to take a picture, so this is what I made there. And this one, if you have been to Paris, you may be familiar with this. So this place is called Shakespeare and Company. So this is a very famous landmark, I can say. It is a bookstore, and it is probably one of the best English literature selling bookstores in Paris. And it has made a name for itself. It was actually it opened in 1951 or so, and apparently the artists who came to sketch Paris and all that, they could stay here, and they didn't have to pay anything. But then the only constraint for them was that they had to help around the shop. So they could just come, stay there for as long as they liked, do whatever painting they wanted, but help with the working of the shop. So this is how this has evolved, and many prominent artists apparently have come and done that over here. And it sells English literature, both old and used. I've never gone inside the library, and I mean, inside the shop, and they said no pictures inside. So next time, I think I will go. So this is the bench that is in front of the Shakespeare and Company, the book place. This is what it says. We spend our life, it's ours, trying to bring together in the same instant a ray of sunshine and a free bench. So this was said by Samuel Beckett. You will also see some colorful buildings, so you don't have to go only to Venice to do that. You will see them in Paris also. This is one such street which I found when I tried to Google and see what is it that we can do in Paris. So this is one of the streets very close to Gare de Lyon, and it has colorful houses. And apparently, it has become a tourist spot now, and a lot of people come and just to get their piece of the Insta picture, so to say. Lovely colored houses, but the people here have realized that the photographers can be a nuisance. They have put up boards on their windows saying no photography, no videography, blah blah, and all that stuff. So I mean, you can't go very closely and then shoot if such a sign is there. But you see this colorful street. Then let's take a look at the metro. So I just wanted to tell you something about the metro because on my last trip, I found that the metro is a very nice place to shoot. I didn't shoot with the camera. Uh, yeah, no, I of course with the DSLR, I mean. So the metro in Paris, the first metro line was opened in 1900. So it is like an underground city by itself. So it is a network of about there are so many lines. You get a metro map. There are so many lines. There are 302 stations, and then the total length of the metro is around 214 kilometers. So it is huge. Now I found that on the way to going to Montmartre, so I had read that you can take a specific route, and the train station, the picture that I showed you in the beginning when I said metro, so that metro station, that has some lovely pictures. I mean, you because metro is underground, so you just take the winding staircase and you go up and you see these paintings on the walls. It's very beautiful. So it is actually depicting Montmartre itself. So these are paintings which depict Montmartre. So it's very nice. So these are shot with a DSLR, of course. I had a DSLR over here. So these are some of the paintings that are there. It's along the metro, so it's very nice. I mean, inside the station when you go up, when you're coming out of it. So this is what you see again. So people will definitely want to take pictures over here. It's so beautiful. Now, this is the actual, the metro station where the train comes, and none of these places I've carried my DSLR because it used to be either, usually while going to office and coming back, I have done these shots. Um, so I realized on the last trip that it is very interesting. There are very nice things. You can really do a lot with the metro in Paris. So this is one of the stations. You can see there are a lot of carvings and paintings on the roof. It is very nice. And this is another one. He's my colleague Mahesh, with whom I used to go in the morning to see Eiffel Tower on my last trip. So there are so many paintings like this. You can It's not really a painting; it's an ad basically. So you can just use these creatively to shoot whatever you want. And I found this in every station has a different color. So usually there are seats like this in the metro station, and then you see the on which the whatever where the seats are. So there are some interesting sites that you can see. like this. So this one is blue, and this is another one which is green. I realized it a little late that it is very interesting to shoot these things. And in Paris, there is no problem to shoot within the metro station, like apparently it is in Bangalore. So you can shoot. So there is no one will object if you are making a shoot. So it's another interesting one. So a lot of ads, and I like the way they have made this, very colorful. So this is another shot. And this is another one. This is not in the metro part actually. So there are different trains in Paris. Metro is metro. Then there is another type of train which is called the RER. So that is more like it runs longer. It's not only within the city; it goes out of the city also to different zones, outside zones also. And we had to take a specific RER to go to our office. And we used to come to the RER. I think the level below the ground, RER is much lower than the metro. So here I just found this interesting, this green board, and then there was this opening there which will allow you to look into the other platform. So this was one interesting site that I saw and showed. All again, this was also with a mobile phone. So this is about the metro. Now, so far, we have not gone to see the Eiffel Tower, and any trip to Paris cannot be complete without seeing the Eiffel Tower for sure. You will agree with me. So I reserved it for the last, and I would say that on my last trip, for some reason, I felt I had to shoot the Eiffel Tower in different ways, in whichever way possible. So I really made an effort to do that. I hope you will appreciate what I'm showing. Now, this was shot long back. I use this picture to teach you another new word. If you're not already familiar, you've heard the saying, c'est la vie. C'est la vie is that's life. That's life. What you're doing, that's life in Paris. It's very nice. So you see the Eiffel Tower in the background, and it's a group of dancers who are just, they were there, and then I managed to get this shot. So this was long back. So I think this was in 2013 or so. And this was also on the same trip. I don't know if anybody shoots Eiffel Tower in a inclined way, but for some reason I thought maybe this would make a good shot, and that's why I did it like this. Now, this is also another common shot that you would see. So this is from near the Passy Bridge that I showed you earlier. So if you come slightly towards your left, this is the view you get of the Eiffel Tower. Apparently from this angle and maybe to a little to the right, that is where you can get very good shots of the fireworks that happen typically on their national some specific national days and all that. So you can just get very good views of the Eiffel Tower from here. This is using the lamp or the light that is hanging from the Passy Bridge. So this I had tried to align that with the Eiffel Tower to create this kind of picture. So this was also long back. This was in 2014. The time I told you I was waiting for a long time for the sunset to happen. So this is the time that I made the shot. And on a trip before that, I was with my colleague Venu. So we had 2 days, the weekend basically, and the first day was fully cold. It was 0 or less, and it was like we were just struggling to walk. It was so cold, and the next day the weather changed so drastically that everything was blue, and it was very nice. So this is one of the shots that I made during that on that day, and this is on another side of the Eiffel Tower. And I don't remember seeing this pond there any longer because every time I have gone, there is something or the other that has changed. So there was this pond on the left side, and then there were some birds and all that, ducks also in the pond. But I don't. In the last couple of times when I've gone, I've not seen this at all. So this is another view. So I just tried to make it in monochrome so that it gives a different perspective. And this is what I said on that trip. I was telling you that from my bed, lying on my bed, I could get this shot. So this is what I could see, through the window of my room. This is how close I was staying to Eiffel Tower that trip. So it's called Rue de Grenelle. So it's on the same street that the metro goes, the Passy Bridge. It is the same. It comes along, the metro line comes along the same road, and that is where I could see this. And this is again from the Passy Bridge. So there is, on the left side, you see this small statue. It's not really very small compared to Eiffel Tower. It is small. I just shot it in this way so that it gives you a perspective of how big the Eiffel Tower is and how small this figurine is. So this is the statue of Joan of Arc. So this is the Joan of Arc statue, and this is how it looked in the evening. I was waiting for some time, and then after that, when it actually got dark and the lights came on, this is how it looked. So it's the same on the same thing. So it can make a lot of difference. These bulbs, light bulbs, apparently there are 20,000 of them, and at the stroke of every hour, they come on and blink for 5 minutes. So the lights keep blinking for 5 minutes, and then all sparkling. I'm not blinking, so it's sparkling. The main light is already on, but these additional lights, they come on, and it's like, if there are people around you, they just go up. Oh, it's such a sight to behold. So it's like, it's very nice. Apparently this Eiffel Tower is called the Iron Lady, and it was built it was built in what was that again? 1889 for a world fair, and it was supposed to be brought down after 20 years. It was supposed to be brought down after 20 years, and it seems that when this tower came up, people were so the Parisians were not happy. They thought that it is such a monstrous gray thing and iron thing. It's a blotch on the architecture of Paris, and it doesn't look good and all this stuff. And uh, eventually, after 20 years, they didn't bring it down. And I think at some time during the German Revolution, Hitler came to Paris. And what these people did was, it seems he ordered that the entire city be razed down or something like that. And the Parisians, they cut the cables for the elevators going up the top of the tower, so that if Hitler wanted to go up or do something, he had to climb 1,665 steps or something like that. And so, I mean, which usually people don't do. They prefer taking the elevator. But anyway, one of the commander, that person did not destroy this. It remained, and then it was not destroyed. It was retained as a tower, that I think as a transmission tower or something like that. So it continues to be there, standing there today. So it is about, I think it is 300 and some meters tall, some 300 odd meters tall. So you can go to the top of the tower. And I have been to the top of the tower only twice. The first trip when I went, we just went to the top of the tower, and after that, 2 years ago when I went with my daughter, that time we went again. Otherwise, I've gone all around, but I've never gone to the top every time. So this is a view of the Eiffel Tower you can get from the far end, which is called as a Trocadero. So you can make these kind of shots from there. So I just tried to get a silhouette of this silhouette. So again, this is a place for couples and for photo shoots. So these are things that keep happening. So they're very interesting. And on my last trip, as I mentioned, I was not staying in this Latin Cafe, but we were staying in another place quite far off, which was about half an hour by metro from where we were staying. So the metro would take half an hour to reach this place. And in about, I think I stayed there for 5 or 6 days. At least 4 days I have come in the morning to visit, to this specific spot only to take some pictures. And this is because it is very nice, as I said, in the early morning when all these people come and the sun. To the left, the way you're seeing this, to the left is the east. So that's where the sun comes up. So it will be very nice. So I used to take the train in the morning and go, and I can say the sunrise was around at around 7 or something like that. So this added to It worked to my advantage because I could take the first metro. I think from the place where I was staying was at around 6 o'clock or something like that. So I could still take the metro, reach the place just before sunrise. So on one of the days when I went there, I got off at the Passy that station, so that I could from the Joan of Arc from the same place I could shoot. I thought I can make shots from there. And then there was nothing much interesting happening at that time. So I started to walk around and come towards this Trocadero. And on the way, I could find these trees which I could, frame the Eiffel Tower. So this is another shot. So I just happened to see that boatman who was coming in the river. And so this was another nice thing, nice light because it was just going to be daylight. And then I think this was not on the same day. This day, I went directly here to this Trocadero, and it was just amazing. And it was very nice. This was the last day of my trip, and the sky was totally amazing. You can see there. Only thing is, I couldn't. I had a 24 120 mm, and from all the places that could allow me to go there in this area, I could not get both that and this, both the Eiffel Tower as well as the beautiful clouds in one picture. So it was very difficult. So I used the left half of the picture. You saw my first shot where I explained to you what bonjour meant. So that I used that I took another shot of only that side. Of course, I could have done a panorama and things like that, but then I was not thinking that way. So I was somehow trying to get both of them in one frame and going all around the place. And this is how it was. And this is again something which commonly happens, as I told you. I found this interesting that he was having this lady come there, and then this is again in the morning. So I went there as I said so many times, so I could try and make a lot of pictures over here with a nice light when the sun is rising. And so this is another, again, an interesting shot because this couple were there and you can see the photographer. So all of them want to take a picture with a picture of the couple with the Eiffel Tower as a backdrop. This one is from Place de la Concorde. So from that place, it was the same evening. And as I was telling you, morning I had seen those shots. I had seen how the sky was, and then I realized that in the evening also it's going to be very good. And I was quite tired by then, but then I decided at the last moment, no, I cannot sit here. I have to go and be there. And so I think I took the RER or something. I didn't take my tripod. I went running, and from the station, from the place where the RER goes to this place, it's quite a long distance. So I had to walk through this Tuileries garden, and then I came to Place de la Concorde. And just as I was coming, everything turned orange. I mean, it was like the only thought I had, I was like, can it be real? Can this be real? That was the thought that went through my mind, and I wanted to show it to somebody. I was alone. My colleagues, Anand and Mahesh, they didn't come with me that evening, so there was no one to show such a beautiful scenery. It was so beautiful. It was really so amazing. And if I look at the raw images I have also, it is so colorful. So it was a very beautiful sight. And this is another shot, not on the same day, but this is another evening when we went, and this is the other place that we tried to shoot it from this side. So you have these two Ferraris standing over there. Apparently, they are there all the time. It's just to attract tourists so that you can come and take some pictures. This is a shot I made. And then I found that there was a small pond in that area in front, where you can get the reflection of the Eiffel Tower. And it was, I didn't need a tripod. Again, I didn't have a tripod because we had gone walking a long distance. We had gone a really long distance, gone through the Louvre and all that, and then come to this spot. And so, along the edges of the pond, so there is a place where you can sit. So I had to keep my camera over there, and then I could make a slightly long shutter speed to get this reflection without shake. So this is another one where I just tried to zoom in on only this part when the lights came on and got this. This is another one. For me, it looks like an invert. It looks like a mustache for me. So I don't know if other people agree, but somehow the treatment that is given to this, it's converted into monochrome. So it just this is another way of looking at it. So this is the total reflection. And this one is the shot that I took from the top of the Eiffel Tower. So as I said, I've gone only twice to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and this was on the last time that I went with my daughter. So she had never been there. So we went there, and uh, unfortunately, by the time we got to the top of the tower, the sun was, in this position. It's mainly because we had, in fact, started out much earlier, but we had to wait in the queue for a very long time. So by the time we managed to get the tickets and go up, this was the state. So the sun was going down, and then again, no tripod here. I don't think they allow tripods on top. So you have to try and find other means to make sure that you can get some um, stable place to keep it somewhere and shoot. And this is another shot that I got after the sun went down and the lights came up. And this one is not something that people shoot commonly. So one thing is for sure, you go anywhere in Paris, Eiffel Tower will not be far behind. So you, especially along the river, when you go and see these places, Eiffel Tower is everywhere. So this is one of the shots I had seen as possible on from a side street. You can see the Eiffel Tower, and I had been wanting to make this. And I think this is a mobile shot that I made when we were coming back after finishing everything. So just come out. So this was what we did. So that brings me to the end of the slide of this presentation. So, the last word for the day is au revoir. This is goodbye till we meet again. This is what it means. So this is again shot on that same morning, that last day morning when the sky was just ablaze with colors. So that's where we are. That brings me to the end of my session today. Thank you so much for a patient hearing.
That was so wonderful. Oh, one of the most beautiful trips I have ever been to. And
Thank you.
next
Happy.
time, I know whom to call when I'm going to Paris as a guide, and more than that, a wonderful friend. That's you.
Thank you. I'll be more than glad to help you. Come with you. It'll be my pleasure.
Yeah, I can just imagine, the photo with the Eiffel Tower and the couple, which was in monochrome.
Mm.
That is my most favorite one among the whole lot. It's monochrome, and there's a couple, and there's Eiffel Tower, and the colors and the background. It's just you can just go into it.
Mm. Yeah, and the
So
monochrome one with the couple in the foreground was your idea of making it into a monochrome, and you helped me
yeah,
with that. Thanks, Hardik, for that. I know I was in
yeah, my
Paris
pleasure.
and I shot that, and then I think I put it up on my status, and you said, why don't you make it
Yeah,
into monochrome like this? Then it looks very nice. So it was your input that made me change it to monochrome.
yeah. So what we'll do is when we go to Paris, so we'll keep a
Hmm.
day for color and day for monochrome, because for both monochrome and color, they are just marvelous. You cannot get enough.
That's true.
Yeah. So coming to a quick Q&A session. If you have any questions, do drop in the comments with Q colon and the question. You can type in the question and post it as a comment, or else type as question colon and then post it so that we will bring it up on the screen and we will address it. Okay, we have an interesting question from Anand. Even I wanted to ask actually, which company do you work for, ma'am? Do you have any on-site opening?
I work for ESI Group. So ours is we currently we do what we call as a hybrid twin. It's a product performance life cycle management. So it's a company which is headquartered in Paris. I think my boss Jean-Louis also may be watching this presentation. So it's all thanks to him. And because of the fact that I'm with the company, I get to go to this place a lot. Um, but otherwise, yeah, if there are any openings, I'll definitely let you know. Jean-Louis, if you're there, if you're listening to it, make note.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
I'm just texting you my resume and my email ID. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to the next question. This is from Yogesh. How safe is it to walk around? I have heard horror stories of con artists, pickpocketers, tricksters, etc., especially targeting people who look like tourists.
I haven't seen much of that in Paris. Of course, having said that, you have to be careful about what you do, where you go, and about your belongings, especially. So, if you
Mm-hmm.
start going around carrying an expensive camera, people will have their eyes on you. But then you have to be careful at all times. But then, otherwise, I mean, I've really not found it any issue. And most of
Okay.
the time, the walking I do is in place where there are a lot of people, so it's quite okay. It's quite safe.
Yeah. Let's go to the next. It's from Ravinder. Is it safe to shoot Paris in the night with tripod?
Yes, 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 very much, very much. You can do that. It's just that I have not gone all the time with the tripod. I mean, I always carry the tripod, but then carrying it to the place. If you're very close, supposing you want to shoot, say Notre Dame and things like that, it's fine because you may if you're staying very close, it's fine. But otherwise, if you have to, that's why it is better to make a longer trip. Maybe you can change the locations where you stay, target specific places, decide what you want to take, go ahead and do that. That's what I did on one trip when I knew I was going to shoot only the Eiffel Tower. I took my tripod and went. The only thing I had not bargained was for the wind. So my tripod was at that time not such a sturdy thing, and then I set it up, and it was so windy. It was really so windy there. So you need to study things beforehand before you go, but there is no problem. You see lots of people doing it. You can always do that.
Yeah, and having a sturdy, heavy tripod on your shoulder walking in the night is always safe. People will definitely not try to do something because you have a heavy tripod. Just kidding. Yeah. Let's jump to the next. We have one more from Anand. Did you get a chance to visit other places in France like Saint Mont Michael, Provence, etc.?
I actually, Mont Saint Michel was on my bucket, or is still on my bucket list. I didn't get around to going there, but I have been to Marseille, I've been to Lyon, I've been to Laval. So these are the other places I've been. So there are still a lot of things for me to see. I think on my last trip, in fact, if I had not been doing Paris on one day that I got off, I had actually planned to go to another place close by. But then Salzburg, I think, but then I didn't go there and ended up doing it here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Jumping to the next. It's from Ratsima. Says, beautiful skies. Did you use any filters?
No, Raj, no, I have not used any filter over here. I have just, increased the contrast and then increased the saturation a little, but no filter. Because as I said, the sky was amazing this morning and this evening. It was amazing.
The filter was naturally added.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's jump to the next. We'll take a couple of questions and come to the end of session.
Mhm.
Question from Pranit Justin. What cameras do you use?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I have shot Paris with a lot of gear in the past, but most of the shooting I've done is with a D610. It's a full frame from Nikon with the 28 300 lens, which I no longer have, and off late with the
Mm-hmm.
24 120. So for the last, I think from 2013 onwards, no, 2014 onwards, I've been shooting constantly with the 24 120 kit lens. And now I have the Z7 mirrorless, but I've not gone to France after that. So whenever I get a chance to go, you will see pictures from my mirrorless the next time. But as I said, it's always good to try out with different lenses. As I said, 11-16, I was very impressed, Tokina 11-16. And after I had actually rented that lens and taken it on this trip. And after coming back, I bought the 11-16. But it's a DX lens. So the moment I came out, I moved from crop frame to full frame. I had to give up that lens. So I still haven't got a wide angle other than the 24 120 is not really very wide, but it is wide enough. It's good comparative, or it's equivalent to an 18 105 on DX. So that's what I've been. I think it suits my purpose. But it's always good to, if especially if you're shooting inside the cathedrals or the churches, it's nice to have a wide angle.
Yeah, the perspective with wide angle would be really beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, coming to the last question for the day. It's from Krishna Kittur. Didn't find the photos of National Opera, which has beautiful arch, domes, statues, whether you didn't have enough time.
No, actually, I what I have tried to do over my many trips to Paris is that I try to visit different places, kind of tick it off my bucket list. And there are still so many places which I have not ticked off. They're still on my bucket list. And to fit in a presentation for 1 hour, in fact, when Satish told me that I can make a presentation on travel photography, and I thought travel will be too wide because I can't cover everything. So I zeroed in on just Paris. And even with Paris, I had to sit around and cull so many pictures, meaning I cannot present all of them over here in the 1 hour time that I have. So I've left out many of the pictures. But opera, I have taken a few shots long back. That was on my first trip when, in fact, I was shooting in JPEG, not even in RAW in 2000. I think it was in 2011. I had shot everything in JPEG at that time. So I have not gone there after that. But yes, it is on my bucket list.
Good. Yeah, coming to the end of session. Thank you, Anita, for the wonderful tour. It was really like a tour. The way you took us to all the places, the way you explained. It was definitely an informative session. And going to Paris, we will have this in mind definitely. Now, before we end the session, let me just give a quick announcement.
Hardik, before you get into your
Yeah,
announcement, I would like to thank the audience, the viewers again from my end. I know I've asked a lot of people, a lot of my friends to come and attend this presentation. Thank you all for taking the time off to be present here and to see what I'm showing you. I have been there and done that with many of you also. Thanks a lot. Thanks to YPS for giving me this opportunity. And again, I would like to thank Satish specifically and all of you guys who helped me sort these things out for the back end. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot.
thank you for the wonderful presentation, no doubt. And to all of our viewers, if you want to follow, and not if you want to follow, but do follow her on Instagram and Facebook. We will have Nandan post the social handles on the chat there, so that you can just click and go like and follow her page. Coming to the announcement, if you have not downloaded the Drishti October edition, do it right away after the session. I hope you enjoyed the read. And if you wish to become a member, all you need to do is scan this code or go to ypsbengaluru.com. And I hope you all have subscribed to our YouTube channel, which is YPS Bengaluru. Don't just subscribe to the YouTube channel, also click on the bell icon so that the moment we post any content, you get the notification immediately. And the salon is International Salon 2020 is up. All you need to do is go to salon.ypsbengaluru.in and register and start uploading your best work. And next YPS Meet Live is from Dr. Barun K. Sinha, who is from Kolkata, India, who will be talking about his journey photography. Thank you once again to all our viewers. Thank you, Anita, for the wonderful presentation. It was really nice. And until
Thank
next
you.
session, yeah, Abhiyanto. I hope that's the right word, right?
À bientôt.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
A
you.
bientôt.
Bonsoir. Au revoir.
Bonsoir. Au revoir.